there lived a man called Adekunle Ajayi. His wealth was so great that people said his footsteps sounded like coins touching the ground. He owned fleets of trucks, warehouses filled with cocoa and palm oil, and houses in cities where even the moon seemed to pay rent. But the true source of Adekunle's wealth was not his sharp mind alone, it was favor. The elders said he carried a calabash of blessing, unseen but full. Whatever he touched grew. Adekunle married Moronke, a woman whose beauty turned heads and whose words were sweet like ripe mango. When they wed, drums sang for 3 days and nights. The village rejoiced, for they believed beauty and wealth had found harmony. But harmony, like a clay pot, can crack quietly. Moronke loved riches, not peace. She mocked small beginnings and despised patience. When traders came to greet her husband, she would laugh and say, "Is this how billionaires dress?" When Adekunle invested carefully instead of lavishly, she whispered, "You are becoming afraid. Wealth does not fear." Slowly, she pushed him toward pride and reckless display. He borrowed where he once planned. He trusted strangers because they wore fine clothes. He ignored elders who warned him, saying, "When a man runs faster than his shadow, he will trip." The calabash of blessing began to leak. A bad shipment was lost at sea. A partner disappeared with money. Fire swallowed one warehouse in the night. Debts rose like floodwater. Adekunle sold land, then houses, then his dignity. The man whose footsteps once rang like coins now walked softly, ashamed. Moronke changed her cloth with the wind. When wealth lived in the house, she was loud and proud. When poverty entered, she became sharp and cruel. "You have finished me," she said one morning. "People laugh at me because of you." Not long after, she left, without a farewell, without a backward glance, returning to her father's house and later marrying a man who still wore the shine of success. Adekunle was alone. He slept on a mat in a single rented room. At night, hunger debated with regret in his stomach. Many times he blamed Moronke. Other times he blamed himself. But most nights he blamed fate. One evening, as rain spoke gently to the earth, Adekunle met Zainab, Moronke's former friend. She had always been quiet, watching more than she spoke. Where Moronke chased noise, Zainab valued stillness. She did not laugh at Adekunle's fall. She greeted him like a man, not a memory. "You are still breathing," she said softly. "That means your story is still writing." They talked often after that, under trees, beside small roadside stalls, during long walks that cost nothing. Zainab never asked about his past wealth. She asked about his ideas, his dreams, his mistakes. When Adekunle decided to start again, with only a borrowed bicycle and a small loan, Zainab was there. She sold her jewelry, simple pieces inherited from her mother, and placed the money in her hands. "Use it wisely," she said. "Blessings return to where humility lives." Adekunle traded again, but this time slowly. He listened, he planned, he refused shortcuts. Zainab kept records, prayed quietly, and reminded him when pride knocked at the door. The calabash began to refill. From one bicycle came two. From two came a small truck. From one truck came a fleet. Adekunle invested in people, not just profit. He paid fair wages. He remembered hunger and refused to mock it. Years passed. The man who once fell rose again, but higher than before. His name returned to newspapers, but this time it was spoken with respect, not noise. He married Zainab, not with drums that shook the village, but with prayers that shook the heavens. Then one day, Moronke saw his face on a billboard. She stopped walking. The man she once abandoned now stood dressed in calm confidence, not loud wealth. Her new husband struggled with debts. The laughter she chased had turned bitter. Regret sat beside her like an uninvited guest. She sent messages. Adekunle did not reply. She came to his office, hoping tears would open doors pride had closed. But Zainab met her at the gate. Some journeys do not allow return, not because of hatred, but because the road has changed. Adekunle later heard of Moronke's visit. He said nothing. He only thanked the ancestors for wisdom learned through pain. And so, the elders say, wealth that comes without character will leave without warning. A wife can be a ladder or a storm, and a man who learns humility in dust will carry gold without being crushed by it. Till today, when elders tell this tale, they end with a proverb: not everyone who walks with you is walking for you.